So hello everyone, so welcome to another class on React. So what happened was I was recording this class, but something went wrong, so this entire recording was gone. So this current class is completely gone. So I explained a lot of stuff from where we left in our previous class. So what I will do now is I will just recap everything that I explained, okay, in a brief way, and we will continue. So in our last class, what we did was we had this in our to-do component. So we first of all I renamed this file, okay. So previously it was something like new to-do input, but I renamed this file to add to-do now. And here if you see, okay, this is one file and there's another file which is to-dos list. So in our previous class what we did was we modified this part of the code and we added this button here, right, using which we can remove the to-do. And we spoke about this function here, okay, why we have to keep it like this and what happens if we keep it like this. So let me show you. So if I reload the app, right, you can see there's some flickering, right, and that flickering is because of these three initial to-dos. If you see, we have three to-dos initially, and those three to-dos are initially shown on the screen, but it's disappearing very quickly. So it is there for the screen for a very short amount of time, and then it disappears, okay. And that is why you are seeing this flickering on the screen. And why it is disappearing very quickly is because of how we have written the code here. In line number 10, what we are doing is I am calling this function remove to do right away. So when JavaScript comes to line number 10, it is first going to call this remove to do function with that particular index, and when that function is called, what happens? This code will be executed, okay, this logic will be executed, and what we are doing is we are removing that particular to do from the list of arrays, right. So that to do is removed, and what happens, what I'm returning from this function, I'm not returning anything from this function. This function's return value is null or void, okay. So an undefined is returned, and that undefined is being assigned to onClick, okay. So that is why you are not seeing anything on the screen, okay, because what happens is when you come to line number 10, you are calling this function right away, so that to do is removed, and then you are assigning some undefined value for onClick. So it is as if you have not assigned anything to this onClick at all, because this is the same as when you keep like this. If you are assigning undefined to this, it is the same as not writing this at all, okay. Yes, that remove function is called for every to do, so every to do will be removed, okay. So the point here is if you keep like this, then when it comes to line number 10, it's going to execute that function, so that to do will be removed, okay. That's why you're not seeing anything on the screen, okay. Or to give you more explanation, this is very similar to doing like this. Let's say that I have some function here, okay. So this is my function, and it is going to do some job here, okay. So if you look at this, right, so I have some logic here, some logic. So in this case, when JavaScript comes to line number 4, 5, 6, right, it is not going to execute this logic here, right. No, this logic will be executed only when I call that function. So I'm going to assign some function to this variable myfunc, okay. Likewise, I have to do the same thing here as well. So I have to write like this, okay, so that that particular logic, right, will not be executed, okay. So by the way, why we are writing like this? Because there's only one line that we have to execute, so we are writing like this, okay. Otherwise we can also write like this in the normal way. If you see, this is my function that has only one line, okay. So if there's only one line to execute, I can just get rid of those two brackets, okay. So when you write like this, it is similar to writing like this. Just like JavaScript won't execute this logic when it comes to line 4, 5, 6, it won't execute this line as well, remove to do line. when it comes to line number 14, because we are wrapping it. Just like we are wrapping this logic, right, inside a function, we are also wrapping, this is also one line of logic, right, we are wrapping that inside another function, okay, and we are assigning that function to onClick. So you are able to see the to-dos on the screen, okay. And when I click on that remove button, that function will be executed, that logic will be executed. So the to-dos will be removed from the screen one by one. But if you write like this directly, then what happens? You are calling the function right away when it comes to line number 14. So you won't see anything on the screen, okay. So that is the explanation for this. And there is one more thing, which is why are we writing it like this? Why don't we declare the function on the top? For example, in add to do component, what we have is we have two event listeners, right? We have an on change event listener. We also have an handle click event listener, right? So what we have done is we have defined these functions on the top like this: handle change, handle click, and I am referring that here. So why can't I do the same thing here? Like I can take this entire function and store that in a variable like this. So handle remove, or say handle click. So I have stored my logic inside this function, and I am referring this function here, handle click. But this is throwing me an error. It says index is not defined. The reason is because if you do like this, then if you look at line number 4, right, we are making use of this variable, right, index, and that is not defined actually. And if you look at the scope, right, in this scope, right, in this scope, if you see, that variable index is not defined, neither it is defined on the upper scope, the scope that is above that. So so to solve the problem, you can do two things. Either you can bring this entire declaration inside this scope. So we have another scope, inner scope here, right, between these two brackets. So you can define the function line number 9, okay, because here if you see the index is defined. You see the index is coming from this variable, right? So index is defined. So this will run properly for you without any errors. But if you put it on the upper level, right, here like this, it's going to throw error for you because index is not defined. So either you can do like this is fine, or you can get rid of this intermediate variable here, okay, and you can directly assign it like this. This is also fine. Yeah. So I hope this particular line is explained properly. So right now, if you see, we have the to-dos here, and I can add the to-dos and I can remove them. Okay. So this is what we have done so far, and what we'll do now is we will speak about styling. Okay. So right now, if you see, we have some good working functionality, but if you see, it doesn't look that great. So what we can do is we can add CSS to that, and we will look at the different ways of adding CSS in a React app. So that's going to be our next part. Okay.